Well, first I want to say, John, one of the things that we need to do is first we have to do our own internal check-in, right? Are we at a place, you know, emotionally and mentally able to have these conversations? Because, we all are connected to that land, right? This is the Holy Land. This is the place where Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, were birthed. And so everybody feels a sense of connection. So, and the work that I've been doing is helping people process their feelings, helping them understand where they are, where their heart is, and helping their heart heal. And then working with them to start using their head on how to actually work with students. And we owe it to our students, John, because right now what is happening and what's been happening in the last 7 months is all our children have to understand what is happening in the world is social media. And social media, as you know, once you click on one video, you're going to get the same algorithm of the same type of rhetoric from different people and in different ways. And so they have nowhere to process this information. They also have their families who they're having conversations with, perhaps, family members, neighbors, and what have you, but nowhere to actually process what they are feeling, what they are experiencing, and what is actually fact from fiction, what is propaganda. So it is really imperative for educators to actually create that space to teach our students critical thinking, to actually understand what is fact, what is fiction, and how to actually create their own informed opinion on an issue. And so this leads me to the point of like, well, how do we do this? So I talked about us as educators, doing our own self-check with our heart and then with our head, and getting ourselves to a place that we can actually be able to do this work. Second, how do we do this work? You have to make sure that you are prepared to do this work. And what are the preparation steps? Like any classroom, or situation that we are going to encounter and talk about, we have to establish, classroom norms, community agreements, setting the stage or setting the table for that dialogue that we're going to have, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's, whatever issue of the day that we're talking about. And so with those classroom agreements and helping students understand, these are our agreements, we're going to be talking about a sensitive topic. We need to make sure that we're using I statements. We need to, make sure that we are actively listening and processing what our peers are saying, not passing judgment, asking clarifying questions, understanding what the other person is saying. And so really setting that table for students to understand this is how we're going to have this conversation. And actually start by opening up to students and asking them, how is this making you feel? And what's really interesting, John, because I'm doing this work as we talk, and for the last 7 months with various schools, is that what we see both with educators as well as with students, whether you are an Arab, Muslim, or a Jewish educator or a Jewish student, they are all mirroring the same things, and that is fear. Fear of being attacked, fear of, Islamophobia or anti-Semitism, fear for their family members, whether they're Palestinian or they're Israeli, fear of war, right? And escalated war, which right now we are in the middle of seeing escalated, war in the region. And so being able to have them in a room and actually sharing these things with one another helps them understand, like, we are actually, we're sharing the same fears and concerns.
Yeah, exactly.
And then helping them find, common ground to acknowledge each other's humanity, and acknowledge the fear that they're all feeling and the concerns that they're having, and finding ways to be able to help them coexist is really, really critical.